So tonight's topics were suggested clarity and balance, and also understanding a little bit more of what we mean, or how to get, if you're a drop in the ocean, how to connect on a deeper level with the ocean. So we can cover them all because it's always the same. And the balance and clarity, I wasn't sure if it was clarity about a particular topic or clarity about your life in general, and what the balance was really, or if you're just feeling like you'd like to be a little bit more in balance in your being, then we can address that. So being meditation or spending time quietly, or doing the mantras, or reading something beautiful, or even walking outside, allows the energy system in our body to connect with something beautiful, and it sort of will take the jagged edges off and create more of an energetic balance within us, and a feeling of well-being and peacefulness and energy boost. Definitely all of those things will do that when we're feeling overwhelmed, or like there's just a lot on our plate. A nice walk outside, look at the sky, every living creature around you is part of the divine experience. So when we connect with that and we notice, then our energy within our body will align to that. If we focus on fear and anxiety and stress, then the energy inside our body is aligning with the fear thoughts and stress thoughts in our brain. So we want to change those thoughts, or spend enough time in boosting our internal energy and aligning ourselves to the divine, so that we have clarity. Clarity comes from being aligned. It comes from the time that we spend in the ocean. So bringing us into the next topic, spending time. So looking at it a couple of different ways. So if I'm just going to mute the couple that aren't making noise. In recognizing our divinity, recognizing our, we started out by focusing on if the divine is the ocean and we are a drop, we have all the attributes of the divine, just on a smaller scale. So how do we connect more with the attributes of the divine? And how do we become more aware of? I'm thinking also the question is, how do we become more aware of our divinity, or more aware of who we are, who and what we are, as connected to our creator. So looking at our lives, if creation is an enormous fabric and everything was cut out of the fabric, then all of creation is connected by the same energy. And every person is connected by the same energy. Also, the divine energy. So accepting the fact that we are divine beings, we are a manifestation of God on earth. We have to get past a little bit of training we've probably received, that we are God on earth, or God in our own life, and that God is in us, and we are created out of the divine substance, which is life. The divine substance is life. It's life and life energy. It is the higher um, attributes, it's the higher vibrations. Um, for example, love is a high vibration, and divinity, vibrates, resonates in the love frequency. So tuning ourselves into the divine, the sea of love that we go into, tuning ourselves into the presence of the divine in acknowledgement, but also in our meditative practice, will bring us into a place of our energy coming into alignment a little bit more each time. And when we spend the time in love, then we let go of fears and things that thoughts in our mind that would be a separation or would be in conflict with our divinity. So we are aspects of the divine. Each one of us is an aspect of creation of the divine one. Each one of us is a facet in the eternal diamond of life. And so our personality expresses, the divine expresses through our personality a little bit differently for each person, but the attributes and the core, the authentic being that we are is all the heart of divinity. It's it's all love. It's no judgment. It's unconditional. It's wholeness and wellness. It's health. It's abundance. It's an unlimited concept. There are no limits on us at all, and what we can become, and the manifestations that we can have in our life are only limited by our thinking and the teaching that we've aligned with. So becoming open and more conscious of your divinity, we must look in the mirror of what we are aligned with already. So we can be aligned with religious truths and beliefs, but be judging if there's judgment there. So it's not about being part of a religious concept either. It's becoming aware of the truth within us. That is the truth that's in the divine. We are unlimited. All things are possible. There is no we're not, if you're sitting in a box trying to find your way out, it's a box that you built. The divine does not build a box around us. We are supposed to grow up into the eternal concept of us, the fullest self-expression. So in order to do that, we have to get away from the idea that God is separate from us, that creation is separate from us, that the divine one is separate from us. It's all the same, and we're all the same. You could look at it. Christ was the Word that became flesh, was the human form of God, right? The human expression of God on the earth. Well, Audrey is also the human expression of God on the earth. And so is, Angela and Dawn, and each one of you is the human expression of God on the earth with your face and your personality. And tapping into the divine one and allowing the truth to come alive in us, then Christ, God in Christ form, if it makes it easier for you to receive, expresses through Audrey. It comes to earth in Audrey, or comes to earth in each one of you, and brings that divine, unlimited, unhindered, unconditional, loving essence into our lives, and then into the lives of everyone around us. So understanding what are the attributes in that, And what are my hindrances to receiving those? If somebody comes up and says you are abundant, how do you feel inside when they say that? Do you feel like, yeah, right? I got bills, I got all kinds of stuff. I'm not abundant. Um, that's not for me, that's just for other people. And so there you have aligned with the concept that's opposite of what abundance is. So then we must dismantle that. And we are the attributes of the divine, and then our life expresses the outpouring of that, not the other way around. So if I can't conceive of abundance for myself, then I can't. It's not real for me. What I have aligned with is a lack of of abundance. But if I can conceive it for myself, and I can conceive it as a truth and a reality for myself and others, then I can possess it, because it becomes a truth in my being, not a knowledge in my mind. And it is the same with all of the attributes. Love over fear. Fear. If there's fear inside of us, um, it's fear of lack or failure, or a lack of follow through with our connection to the divine. We're fearful that we won't be taken care of. We're fearful that we won't be guided. We're fearful that we will not have enough. And we ride along on that vibration. Then we draw that into our body field. It's the same with all the attributes. So understanding what is the personality in the face of creation? What is the personality in the face of God? What are the high level frequency? What is contained in that high level energy of divinity? It's freedom. Freedom. It is abundance. It is joy and love and wholeness, health. Uh, Creation itself is embodied in the Creator. We have a concept for our life, a desire in our heart, and we move in that direction, and we can embody that. But we must open our eyes to the story that we've been hearing about what is right and wrong, what is acceptable and unacceptable in our culture and families and people groups and cities and towns, wherever people got together and said, this is what life is supposed to look like. And so if it looks like this, you're doing it right. And if it doesn't look like this, you're not doing it right. And if you dress like that, this is what it says about you. So therefore you must be that. And if you're, some other concept that we've learned that drags us into judging other people or condemning based on appearance and based on how people talk, or based on, that person doesn't work, 8 to 5, 6 days a week. So therefore they're not industrious, and they're not, they're kind of lazy. Well, no, they're not. Like, who made that rule? Right? So we have to challenge the beliefs that we have aligned ourselves with to make room for the freedom and the abundance and the attributes that are part of the divine to actually have a space inside of us, actually have room inside of us to come to life and to begin to poke at us that there is more for us. And you might think, geez, I'd really like to do something else with myself, and I think it might be this over here. And then all of the teaching and exposure we have, well, you don't have a degree for that, and you haven't done the college for that, and only people who have thus and such can do that, and you can't live in that neighborhood because, whatever, and you don't have the pedigree. And so we've allowed ourselves to be put into categories and truths that people have collectively agreed to. And when people collectively agree to something, then we think it's a truth, and we don't question it anymore. So we have to look at, how am I living? What am I believing? If I sit and I say, I am love, and I see the divine in every living creature around me, and you look around, listen to what goes through your mind. Are we picking and choosing? Are we pulling back from that? How can love be everywhere? How can it be for me? How can I even do that? Health and wellness. If you feel inside like that's not for me, then it isn't. It isn't until you change the antenna to receive within yourself, and you change the concepts that are holding that from you. The advertising right now, with as you age, you have to have all this litany of things falling apart on you, or diseases happening to you, or a whole myriad of things. And people are like, well, I'm right about that age, I should have a leaky bladder, or I'm right about that age, maybe I should have whatever falls off. And people just surrender into that like it's a truth. But it isn't a truth. It's only a truth that you have chosen to believe. We have to challenge against the truth within us what it is we are looking at and what it is we are hearing. And just because, there's a lot of people running in the direction of a leaky bladder, do you really want to get on that bus? I don't think so, right? Male and female both. It's not exclusive. So we have to stop and say, who and what am I, and what truths am I living to? And then as we go in and we spend time, if we're basking in the sea of love, then we reach inside ourselves, and we want to know those truths more. It is a relationship, so we're not just going there, but we're reaching out from within that space to the connection to the mothership, so to speak. We are divine. Divine is in us and all around us. It is the divine that is expressing through us. We don't have to go get it and figure it out. It is already expressing through us in the ways that we allow and open ourselves to. Or we can express through our humanity, through our thoughts and our our thinking mind, and then the actions. I have to rush and go do something. I have to make something happen, or it's not going to happen. And we put ourselves in the driver's seat all the time. So learning who and what we are, and what are the attributes available to us in the ocean. What would you like to experience more of? Would you like to experience more love, or would you like to experience more freedom? What is freedom? This isn't like we take a freedom pill this week, and then next week we take a love pill, and next week an abundance pill. These are living vibrational frequency truths. If you think of them as notes in a song, we're striking the chord of each one within ourselves until we have the entire orchestra, the entire symphony vibrating within ourselves. We're unlearning and we're learning the higher vibration, the higher truth. So, what is the divine in me? What is possible for me? Uh, and then how do I feel about it? What's my initial response to that? Is it, that's not for me? That's too much work. It's too much work. I'd rather not put forth the effort. That's okay. Like, there's no judgment. We could sit right where we are in our current divine condition for the rest of our life, and we would not be loved less. We would be loved the same. But there's more. There's so much more, so we want to reach for more and challenge ourselves. The issue is not with creation. The issue is our willingness to open to challenge our beliefs and then receive new concepts and new truths and new beliefs. If all things are possible in my divinity, what does that feel like? What are the thoughts that rumble through the mind with that one? All things are possible. I mean, I dove in with each attribute, and if it's true within me, it's in the fabric of my being, then why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? And then you start to see why it's not happening, right? And a lot of it is just teaching. We step it on our own feet. We've already been taught something opposite or less empowered than the truth. The truth is powerful. The truth changes us, and it's an individual experience. We don't learn truth to go beat someone over the head with it. We learn truth to acquire it, and then our life radiates truth and love to everybody around us. This is a journey for you and you and you and you. And learning, if I am divinity and I am the human form of the divine being in my daily life, is it looking like that? Am I living like that? And you're like, oh, you don't have to live any different, but are you aware, I guess would be a better way of saying that. It's not like follow all these rules and, clean up your act or something, but are you aware of how divine you are? Are you aware of the divine being alive inside of you and reaching through you? Are you aware that that is how eternity touches the face of the earth, is through each individual person who is willing to get a hold of that truth and allow it to melt into their being, the essence of who they are, and then love flows out. Energy elevates. We run at a high frequency. We're not down in the basement of low-level emotions. We're in a place of clarity because we are attuned and aligned. Our mind is resting peacefully over the top of our heart. Our heart is flowing, connected with the divine source of life. And we're moving in the right now. It's the right now, in this very moment. We are here in this moment, period. And there's no chatter about yesterday, and there's no chatter about tomorrow inside of the mind in this place. And we have clarity, and we have understanding, and we have deep, moving love for everybody around us, regardless of what they are saying and doing. Love is a solid frequency that doesn't it doesn't rely on people's behavior or people's words or people's choices at all. Love is love, period. We love our brothers and sisters. We love everything that's alive. We awaken that vibrant frequency within us. And then we are in the frequency of love and the divine. And we see somebody, and there's no judgment, and there's no separation, and there's no us and them. You know, there's no wrong and right. There's another soul that is divine. You're connecting with a piece of yourself in every person that you look at. You know, you are the eyes of God to them, and they are the eyes of God to you. What are you seeing? Think about it, you know? I mean, it's kind of like, you know, people are always saying, only good comes to me. You know, that's the proclamation, only good comes to me. Is only good coming out of you? Because that's how good comes. You know, we're pumping out a frequency all the time. You know, only good comes to me is a statement from the heart of profound belief. Only good comes to me because you're scared something bad might come isn't a belief, a statement of belief and truth. So let's unmute for a second and just see if we answered the questions. Everybody, especially those who have the questions. You can unmute yourself and comment.
That was really powerful and beautiful.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Is it something that you guys can apply?
Yes.
Is anyone missing the application? Like how to apply that?
I got most of it, Audrey, but about every fifth word was kind of cut off.
Okay, well, here's the gist. You are super most bad divine being. Go spread it around by being Kenny.
Roger that.
All right. And each one of you, if we look in the mirror and we're like, that is divinity looking back at me, and if I don't feel it, what am I saying to myself? And it may be a judgment. It may be something that is completely untrue. And then we challenge that and say, I am the life of Christ on this earth, in this human form, with the personality of Audrey. So God comes down, becomes flesh in me, because I'm flesh. I'm flesh. That's how God touches the earth, is through the dense form beings of us. So how can I walk in that more without, you know, I can't stress enough, there's no judgment in divinity. It's only love. It's only love. Only love. And we start spreading it around just by being us, just by being love, just by being our divine selves. We lift people up, and the divinity within them is awakened. It's awakened. Maybe they have no idea they're divine. Most people don't. It's awakened, and it begins to move within them. We don't have to say anything. It's not our job to say stuff. It's our job to be. As we be and become, the energy around us vibrates that out, and it connects with the divinity in every person. Every person on this planet is impressed with divinity from the point of inception. Every single one. There is not a non-divine human on the planet. There are no evil people. There's bad behavior, people who don't know who they are and what they are. They have no concept of divinity, but they are divine. They are divine. There's nobody less than divine. Getting a lot of questions about that lately. But how can it be? How can the God, the creator of all things, decide that I think I'll just make my foot evil? How can that be? How can that? It can't. It cannot be. You cannot be good and evil. It's all good. It's all divine. And then it's walked out in different formats here on earth, and we get a hold of our divinity and we elevate everyone around us, and that love changes people, changes us, and as changed beings we go about our divine life, and people's lives are changed just because we're divine and we're walking in it, not because we're preaching, not because we're telling people how to live or what they should and shouldn't be doing or wearing or eating or drinking. No, by being lovingly divine in myself, to myself, and then radiating out love, divine love, unconditional love out of this body to everybody I come in contact with, and the atmosphere is elevated. So, yes. Was that helpful in the comments on clarity and balance?
Yes.
You guys are all like, I'm clear and balanced in my silence. So the meditative time that we spend is to awaken within us that love. You know, everyone's connected with the love pretty much in our time, and then I want to carry that out of. I mean, this is a conversation you might have with yourself. You know, I want to carry that out of this 10 minutes, and I never want to be out of this state in my daily life. And you will find that you are drawn in more, and that you're not turning it on and off with meditation. You are being everything that you gain during the meditative practice. You just continue with moment to moment. It's like, yes. Okay. All right, so I guess we'll meditate. So no going in and no coming out, that what you experience in the meditation is constantly there within you, whether or not you're in a set aside meditative time. You carry the same love. The difference is you're not distracted when we're here. And when you get up and you go in to make dinner, you've moved your outer attention, your eyeballs, to what you're cooking or what you're doing, and less attention to the inner. But you can absolutely prepare your meal or your whatever it is you're doing with your eyes, your inner eye on your heart and your inner ear still tuned in. You can absolutely, the body can function while you're tuned in to this practice. Even when you get up, it's still there. It's just an attention issue. But when we learn to just be aware, pretty soon we're just carrying it and we're in it and we're never out of it, ever out of it. And that's a great place to be living from. So eyes closed. And breathe. Fall into your rhythmic breathing. And placing your attention in your heart center. And breathe in and out of that space, your attention in your heart. Now connect with the emotion of love. Connect with the emotion of love and feel it in you and all around you. And see how fast it comes to you, how fast you become aware of it. In just an instant, you're attuned to love within you and all around you. You feel the frequency of love inside of you and all around you. You are enfolded, embraced in the beauty of this energy, loving, restoring, accepting energy that is in you, alive in you all the time and all around you, connecting with creation. Feeling the love inside of you and all around you. Now receive the concept that this love that is in you and all around you is your divinity. And it is the divine. The very essence of eternity in you and around you, moving through you. You are one with this love, and you are this love. Open to being divine. Divinity is our birthright. It is the fabric we're created from. It is who and what we are. We are unlimited. We are deeply and completely loved right where we are. We will never be loved more or less than we're loved right now. We'll never be more or less divine. We will just become aware, more aware of who and what we are, which will give us expansion. Expansion and elevation in our life force. You are love. You are divine love. Reach for more. Make more room. Allow yourself to expand. You are in this moment aware of your divinity. You are experiencing it. You are aware of it. Connect with what it feels like so you can come here all the time. It is becoming aware. Now reconnect with your breath, but don't lose what you're feeling. Reconnect with your body, remaining aware of the love. Let it be a backdrop inside of you. Let it be the color you paint the room of your heart. You know, the screensaver of your mind. Make an intention to remember. And holding on to that intention, open your eyes.